Welcome to the Financial Rebellion podcast. I'm your host, Todd Romer. We started this podcast for two specific reasons. Number one, to inspire you to start a side hustle and make some extra income. Or perhaps take that side hustle and turn it into a full-time business, like some of our guests have done already. The second reason we started the podcast is because we're big fans of credit unions, and we have worked with credit unions around the country to help them drive awareness and new membership growth amongst younger generations. Frankly, with a credit union, you can do a lot of what we teach about money the Financial Rebellion way. So let's get into this episode of Financial Rebellion. Welcome to the Financial Rebellion podcast. This week's episode, I'm very excited to have a special guest on. But before I introduce her, I wanted to say that we are proudly sponsored by the credit union world. And what do I mean by that? We are big fans of credit unions. Financial Rebellion is helping credit unions of all sizes do two specific things: drive younger membership growth and help them retain members and help them become more engaged, loyal, and sincere members. And finally, we are also sponsored. Financial Rebellion is sponsored by Acorns, a wonderful place to begin investing in the stock market with very little dollars and not having to choose your own stocks. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce somebody that is obviously somewhat close to me because she has the same last name as me. And I'm your host, Todd Romer. This is my nephew's wife, Beth Romer. Beth, welcome to the podcast, Financial Rebellion.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. And as our listeners and viewers know, we don't just talk only about money and investing, which is what we do inside the newsletter and our other platforms. This is more of an entrepreneurial side hustle podcast that hopefully inspires a lot of people, both young women, young men, those maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s as well. They're saying, hey, I want to try and start something on the side where I have a skill and I want to maybe monetize that. So we're going to talk to Beth today about her business. But before we get into that, we'd like to do a little icebreaker, Beth. All right. So because I know you, but I don't know all of their details, and we all have made great money choices or decisions, and some of us, including myself, and I'm maybe assuming you, have made some dumb money decisions. So what is maybe your top, not the best money call or a decision you've made mistake in the past?
The biggest money mistake I've made in the past is I inherited Roth IRA, I believe. Like, it was a smaller inherited Roth, and you have to take contributions from them at each year when you receive that. And I didn't get the right guidance from people to tell me to reinvest. And so was just told to just take it all out and not to reinvest it. And so that is what I did. And I was very young and definitely learned a lot from that experience. And I would not recommend doing that.
Well, and that's why we started Financial Rebellion, right? To help people really of any age, but 18 to 35, if you will, just kind of make better decisions. And it's not your fault because you didn't know what you didn't know. All right. On the flip side, what's one of your best money moves that you've made?
Best money moves that I've made is probably purchasing our farm. My husband and I live on a 13-acre farm in Spring Valley, Ohio, and it just makes us very happy. It's also, to us, a great investment. Our property value continues to increase, and a lot of people are wanting land, so we like that we're sitting on quite a bit of land. So we love that.
It's fantastic. And you don't need me to tell you this, but you experience it. You live your property that's priceless because it's a home and not just a house on land, right? So yeah, you can't put price tags on everything. That's great. Fantastic. Okay, so tell us about your business. I've got some questions for you. You have a business called LNL Collective, and tell the listeners, viewers, what that is and what you do.
Yes. LNL Collective is a marketing agency. We like to say we make outsourced marketing easy for our clients. So we focus on anything from digital to print, all the way to focusing on SEO and gifting for clients. It's really becoming an outsourced marketing department for our clients, is what we love to do. We also specialize in digital PR, which is something that kind of separates us from other marketing agencies. And we get our clients placed in very large publications and helping their growth with that. So, something we're really proud of and continue to grow that vertical of the business.
It's fantastic. So digital, I'm guessing you're helping companies of all sizes with social media posting and
Yes.
creative around that.
Yes, we do social media, blog posting, branding, website design, SEO. We truly do it all. And if there's something that we're not comfortable doing or it's not our total expertise, we have a lot of partners that we bring in and work with. So it's been a learning lesson and we love it. We love every aspect of it.
So the listeners are, whether they're 18, whether they're 28, 38, whoever's listening, I always love to hear how did you start this? Where did this come from? Take us back several years, maybe when you were working for a company called Speedway. Maybe
Yeah.
it was that and the impetus to start. You also worked for Abercrombie and
Yes,
Fitch.
I
So
did.
go back a little bit to kind of begin the process in your mind, like maybe I could do this on my own.
It really started when I was at another agency, but I've always had a love for relationship building. So I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch headquarters and then Speedway. At Speedway, I was a buyer. So I had people who called on me and I was the client, and then went to a marketing agency where then I was, the one calling on the client and building that relationship and, growing it as much as I can. And I realized I have a really strong love for that, and it comes very natural to me, which is really great. Beyond that, when I say I'm an idea person, it's like both a blessing and a curse. Like I can think of a business idea for just about anybody at any point of a day. So there's probably 5 business ideas that run through my head in a given week. And I have to figure out like which one am I going to jump on and which one am I not. And a lot of times my husband, Nick, will have to be like, let's just focus on the business we're in right now. Like, we don't have to start a new something. And I'm constantly always thinking. So when I was at my previous agency, it's when I realized I think I can do this. And they weren't actively doing social media for businesses. And so I kind of thought I could go in that avenue and just focus primarily on social media. So I did it. I invested in it. Well, I didn't just do it. I invested in a leadership and life coach who changed my life and helped me recognize that I was capable of doing it. And I got that first client and I went for it. So, fast forward today, we are full service marketing agency, team of 8 people, and growing and doing all different kinds of marketing. We are not just social media at this point, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's fun. So you just mentioned a life coach, and maybe that's the answer to my next question. But there seems to be with any entrepreneur that along the way, it could be your spouse, could be your husband, Nick, could whoever along the way. Was there something that clicked or someone that kind of said, you can do this, that kind of puts you over the edge in a good way to say, wait a minute, I think I can do this? Was there any moment like that or any persons along the way?
Yeah, it would be my life coach. She just helped me recognize what I wanted. When I first started meeting with her, I just kept telling her that I knew I was meant to have a business. I wanted a business, but I didn't know what the business was. And I had tried different avenues. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't always understand, especially because of social media. People make it seem like success happens overnight and the first idea always takes, and it doesn't. I tried different things. I was always thinking through different ideas, trying this here. So when I met with her, my biggest thing was I knew that I wanted this. I just didn't know what this was yet. And I think a lot of times it's the opposite where people are like, I have an idea. And it's like, do I act on it? It's like, no, I know I want a business. I just don't know what my business is. So it was a lot of like playing around with her and figuring out what it was. And she's the one who posed the idea to me of, have you ever thought about doing social media for people? Because I was helping her out. And I was like, I don't know if anybody would ever really pay me for that. And she was like, I think they would. So it was a big conversation. And then I think after finally, like, realizing that I could do this, it was getting that first real client who was gonna pay me that made me think, "Okay, like, this is something." And then I kept going from there. But, I mean, I think the one thing I'll always say is it's not always rainbows and butterflies, it's a roller coaster. You know, there were months where I made no money. There were months where I had to invest in a team and I took home nothing. Like, it's a risk and it's scary at a lot of different times, but to me, it was worth it.
You are outlining almost every feeling and experience that a young
Yeah.
entrepreneur, I don't care if you're a woman or a man, that goes through. And we all generally put on a face that things are okay, not to try and deceive anybody, but yeah, it's a roller coaster. And let's get back to that. The doubts and fears. And the fact that two things really, doubts and fears. And then I want to talk about when you got your first client that actually paid you dollars, which is probably a big deal. Like, wait, they're paying me money, right? For this? Like,
Yeah.
okay. That's always a fun experience. You put the flag in the ground, like, wow, I got my first client. Even if it's $20, I don't care,
Yeah.
right? It's a fun
Yeah.
feeling. So I guarantee you, all the listeners, we talk about this within Financial Rebellion when it comes to managing money and doing money differently, and how there's fears and doubts and limiting beliefs about yourself or yourselves around the country. People thinking, I don't know if I can become financially successful because maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not capable enough. All these, they're just BS lies, but we all go through that process, right? Did you have some of those doubts and fears? And if so, what were some of the specific doubts and fears that you had when you were beginning to start this business?
Yeah, I definitely had doubts and fears. I think I still have doubts and fears, right? Like, it's an evolving process as a business owner. I think my doubts and fears just change over time on what they are and how serious they are and things like that. But I think for me, it was, of course, the fear of failure, like having to admit this didn't work or having to, go back to a 9 to 5 job when I really didn't want that. So that was definitely a fear. Also, I think the fear of, can I really do this? Like, am I smart enough? And I think to your point of what you were saying about the smartness, like, school wasn't my thing. I'm a creative person. So I've always had this limiting belief that I wasn't as smart as everybody else and all of that. So it's challenging. I think when you go to start a business or when you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, the mirror comes up and you have to face yourself and you have to figure out who you are and kind of change that narrative. So it's a lot of work. I think I've been on a journey too, spiritually and even just as a person of who am I and how do I show up as the person I want to be? How do I become this next version of myself? And I think it's a constant evolvement of oneself when you have a business because you're constantly put in uncomfortable situations that you have to overcome. And in order to do that, you have to be a different version of yourself every time. So it you get over them, I guess. I mean, it's hard. It's you also have to have a faith. You have to have faith that it's gonna work out. You have to have a faith in something bigger than you, and you have to believe that you're capable, and you have to work your butt off. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, and I think that is the one thing I wanna stress most to young people, especially because of social media. There is just this constant, like, put out a digital download or do this and you'll have, millions of dollars and this will happen overnight. It's like any masterpiece is going to take time. And I think that is the biggest thing that I would want the younger generation to understand. Like, work really hard at something and create a masterpiece and be proud of it.
That's fantastic. You touched on a lot of cool commentary there. I am capable. I am smart, yet doubt still comes in and fear still comes in. When that does come in, what do you do? What do you do differently now than you did perhaps a couple of years ago when you're starting? What do you recognize it quicker, and what do you do to kind of be the antidote to fear?
Yeah, I think because of all the work I've done throughout the last 4 years in this process, I recognize my thoughts so much quicker. So I'm able to, when I do have that fear, I'm like, where is this even coming from? And I changed my thought behind it. So I think I'm probably annoyingly positive. I think it's probably like for people in my life, they're probably like, oh my gosh, like I am the like, what's the best thing that can happen type person. Do bad things happen? Do we lose clients sometimes? Like, are there disagreements? Absolutely. But I think for me, I'm really big believer of like if something doesn't work out, it's because something better is coming. So I approach scopes that way and potential bids to clients where it's like, I am confident we can do a good job. And if they decide it's not us and it's somebody else, then I am confident that the right person is coming to me. So it's an energy thing. And I can get a little bit woo woo on
Love it.
people, but you have to step into this energy. If you step into a, glass half empty when you're running your business, eh, that is the kind of business you're going to have. And so I refuse to go there in my mind. Refuse.
Well, I know you have a faith, a Christian faith that is very important to you, and so do
Yep.
I. And I love what you said that you recognize it's quicker. You recognize the thoughts like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And so your awareness is heightened, which allows you to kind of go, oh, I've already had those. I know where those are coming from, right? That's not
Yeah.
going to happen. And yeah, how much more fun is it to live that way positively, knowing that, yeah, something is better down the road. And trust me, I've
No.
been there, done that too.
Yeah. So much better. I think everything is more fun that way. It really is.
Fantastic. Okay, so from the just for a little bit longer, couple more questions. What are you doing lately within your marketing agency? What's Is there new things hopping and popping that you got to stay ahead of the curve with your business? What are you learning from some of your clients that, oh, I didn't know we need to get into that? Just what's happening in the marketing world these days.
I mean, everything is happening in the marketing world,
It's,
right? It's like
right.
everybody wants like, oh, to have all the growth and all the things. Um, no, I think what we're doing to stay ahead of the curve is working with our clients on their roadmap or their strategic plan of where they're going. I think so often marketing agencies or outsource companies partner with a business and it's like, we need X, we need Y. And it's like, okay, great, let us get to work. And then when X and Y don't deliver the results that we're hoping for, it becomes a conversation of, well, why didn't this work? And, what do we do now? And it just kind of gets messy. And so we approach all new clients now with like figuring out where are you going? So we work with them on like, what's your 1 year plan? What's your 3 year plan? And then how does marketing play a part in that? And also, what does the business need to be doing at the same time that we're doing this in order to have the success that they're hoping to see? So that's how we stay ahead of some of the challenges. I think there's a lot of discussion constantly about AI and how it plays into different businesses. For us personally, as a marketing agency, is there potential that you can get a logo and a website from AI? Yes, it's happening already. So, that is a future that we are looking at. I think one of the offers that we do with digital PR is something that I don't want to say fully is AI proof, but it is something that we can give to our clients that really not a lot of people can. And it's really great. So we work on, pitching our clients to these different publications as thought leaders. And then when the article comes out from CNN and our client is featured in that article as a thought leader or an expert in the space, they receive a link to their website, which is going to help their SEO tremendously. So we don't want to become a full PR company because it's kind of like mixing two different things, but we love having this as an offering for our clients to help their
Oh, boy.
SEO and to just help their growth in general. So that's how we're staying ahead.
That's great. So I went to your website and I think your LinkedIn as well. You have this for the listeners. I love how your tagline, right? It is, we are the only fun marketing agent. We are the only fun marketing agency that makes outsourced marketing fun.
Yeah.
Fun is a big deal, right?
Yeah, it is. It's in our URL. We're LNL Collective.fun. And that was really important to us. I think we want the work to be fun. Is there sometimes are you going to work on like a project that's pretty dull or lame? Of course, but like, how can we bring fun to it? Or how, as a company, do we continue to have fun, whether that's with our clients or in our personal lives? I think that's one thing about being a collective. Like, we're all such different people. So coming together and bringing the avenues of like what's fun to us to the conversation. I just don't want to take things too seriously sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, final question. As someone's listening, they still have a little bit of trepidation and we hear it all around the country. Young men, young women, I'm pretty good at this, but I don't know if I can monetize. I don't know if I can make money from it. I think I'm pretty good at that. And we have so many stories. We had someone on the podcast here a few months ago. I forget the actual product and I should know this, but she's selling it on Etsy and she's making like 1,200, 1,300 bucks a month. And it's like, wait, you're making that kind of money just because she's good at the skill or
Yeah.
this product that she makes. So what would you say to somebody that is, whether they're working for a company or not? I've always tell people, hey, if you're an employee, just it doesn't mean that, okay, I'm just an employee. I don't have a side hustle yet. I don't have a business. Think like an entrepreneur at your company. Number one, you're likely going to be seen like from your manager, your boss, like, okay, I like this person because they're trying to make this better. So number one, always have an entrepreneur mindset inside your company if you're an employee. And then what else would you say for someone who is thinking about starting out with a side hustle, but has those trepidations that come in, those fat fears and doubts? What would you say to something like that to counter that?
Oh, I would say so many things, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I would first say, like, are you ready to be uncomfortable? I think what stops so many people is the fear of or having to be uncomfortable, whether that's marketing themselves, putting themselves out there, or having to sell themselves. It's easier to just sit on your phone and scroll through TikToks and reels about like other people doing it and like having that inspiration in the future for when you're finally ready. And I think you have to get uncomfortable. You have to do it. I think every single person, like there's multiple marketing agencies out there. There were multiple marketing agencies out there when I started this, but no marketing agency is run how I run mine. And so I think it's important to realize, like, even if somebody else is already doing it, they're not doing it the way that you would do it. And there are so many people out there that there is somebody to sell to. Like, everybody needs something. And if you're passionate about it and you're an authentic, good person, then it's going to happen. Without a doubt, it'll happen. But I think you have to get uncomfortable. You have to figure out what you want and why you want it.
You can already see a snippet of this podcast interview, basically having you start out saying, you've got to get uncomfortable because
Yeah.
it's the truth.
No,
And
it's all
well
I mean,
said.
it's hard. It's hard. Nobody wants to do it, right? It's not like it's a easy thing to do to put yourself out there, but I don't know, I think when you look back on your life, do you wanna say that you went for it or do you wanna regret? So, I'm like a big just go for it.
That really caps this podcast interview. When you
Yeah,
look back, we could spend a whole nother hour at another time of how I responded to that when I was younger. And it was a Jeff Bezos quote when he started Amazon, just selling books. He wasn't doing anything except selling books. And he happened to be on a 60 Minutes television interview. And I forget exactly how he said it, but he said, I want to have minimal regret when I leave this earth. And so he didn't say no, because that's impossible, but he said minimal. And I'm like,
yeah.
that really impacted me. One of many people that impacted my thinking. Beth Romer, thank you for being on the Financial Rebellion podcast. I think there's a lot of people listening, young men, young women alike, that can take what you've said and say, why am I just sitting on this idea? Give it a
Yeah.
shot. And I can concur. I can tell you that you're going to agree with this comment too, that fear is just, it happens every day, but it's just a big fat lie. And then fear of failure, we just think it's bad, and failure is actually good. So we've all just have to relearn what fear is and what fear is not, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Great. Well, thanks again for being on. And again, we
Thanks
are
for
proudly
having me.
sponsored by you are so welcome. And again, Financial Rebellion, sponsored by the Credit Union World, we call it, because we have a number of credit union partners from Kemba Credit Union, Alabama Credit Union, so many that we're beginning to work with and help them differentiate themselves from banks and drive younger membership growth. So we're very thankful for them, all credit unions that are doing great stuff out there. All right, until next time, the Financial Rebellion podcast. We'll see you very soon.